I don't think I can look past Marcy Pudge and Shadow Fiend in the same team. I think these heroes have looked far too strong in last year's qualifier and far too strong in group stages. So, I mean, I'm going to have to give TSM a very slight edge here in game number 1.
Let us see if TSM can reward the faith being put into them by Fluke, or if it's going to be the case that Tundra will show us why they had faith in the last pick, 9 Marana, 24 pick in the draft, so absolute last pick. 9 must have been clamoring for it. And in the past, you know, you were talking earlier about wanting to see and wouldn't mind seeing the mid-Winter Wyvern. It was 9 that like helped pioneer that. Like, guys, just give me this hero, man. This is the one person who, no matter how off-kilter it seems, if he calls you onto you for a hero pick, you give it to him because he probably has a great idea of how to make it work in this game. So you gave the edge towards this Marcy Pudge, Shadow Fiend, pure disgustingness. I'm very conflicted here. Warlock is one of my favorite heroes, so I would love to say the Warlock draft.
Visage is 0-4, bro. Like, come on. He's 0-4. Marcy has like a 70% win rate, 100% contest rate. I think Shadow Fiend is like something along the lines of like 80% win rate as well today out of like the 5 or out of like the 10 games that he's played. So that's a lie, bro.
It's looked very good. Also, I kind of hate Visage, honestly. So I don't mind Visage losing again. I'm cool with it. I am completely cool with it. Tundra, though, this has often been a squad that has been regarded mightily for their prowess at adapting the meta and creating new strategies. And in TI, one of the ways that you end up winning the tournament, not about each individual game, it's about winning the whole thing, is by being able to be ahead of the meta. You need to be the kind of team ready to experiment if you want to get to that point in time. So let's see how things go. Obviously, this is not a lane that we see all that often, the Marana versus the SF. I can't imagine either of them are under any real threat unless there's massive rotations that come from supports, right?
Yeah, I think Bryle is probably going to be the only one that has to worry about the way that this works out. Like, if 9 ever gets hit by 2 to 3 raises, I think he's definitely made a mistake. Just because of constantly having leaps available should be what he's always thinking about, whereas Bryle can, kind of get to a point where you're just getting clicked a little bit, maybe you cop a Starfall, and then you get hit by a random arrow and you just die. So there's a little bit of kill threat that comes in from 9, but I feel like it's going to be relatively straightforward, and it will be the first rotation from Moon Meander and Saberlight. I think that's the thing for me here for TSM is they have this Marcy. As soon as she gets that level 6, she's going to be a very, very big threat on the map. A little bit of kill threat that comes in from 9, but I feel like it's going to be relatively straightforward, and it will be the first rotation from Moon Meander and Saberlight. I think that's the thing for me here for TSM is they have this Marcy. As soon as she gets that level 6, she's going to be a very, very big threat on the map. And they can just make a straight rotation towards that mid lane or even towards the safe lane as well. So if Saberlight has a relatively okay game, gets boots early on, gets maybe half an item here or there, he should be able to put a lot of pressure on this map, and it's really going to be on Soniqs to try and be in the right place at the right time, because he can really disengage a lot of these ganks if he's in the right place with a nicely timed Fisher.
Yeah. Speaking of Soniqs, he's out here doing his duty as the Earthshaker, dragging waves, creating problems for the opposing safe lane squad, just trying to make sure that 33 gets as much out of this Visage as humanly possible. Let's quickly focus on this Visage for a moment, right? 4 losses thus far on the bounce, not really great performances from this hero, and oftentimes it just feels like the hero itself is just lackluster. What do you think it is that's causing this hero to just have so many troubles? Because it's almost at all stages of the game, right? They hold that dot bottom, might have the first blood happening, snaking, finds himself caught out by Moon Meander and Saberlight. Well, I wanted to bring up this lane last because I was going to say that once they hit level 2, snaking is in perpetual and constant trouble. But thanks for preempting me, boys. They're faster than me. That's why they're the pros and I'm on the mic. But this feels quite scary. This feels like this can keep happening over and over and over again if they so choose. And indeed, they're going on to Skeeter. There they go with the bushcrack. They do come back with snaking, and he's back in time to dissuade Saberlight from going forward. But he now knows that he can actually never leave bottom. Ever, ever, ever. If he does, Skeeter is going to die the next time this happens.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward interaction there between the Dispose and the Bushwhack, because Saberlight came in with the Dispose, broke the tree, and then Skeeter was freed from the Bushwhack. So they have to be careful about how that combination does work, so they don't kind of step on each other's toes. But exactly what you said, right? Like they're permanently going to have kill threat here, and this is why I kind of really like this lane that comes in from Moon Meander and Saberlight, is at any point in the game, they should have enough kill threat to be able to kill the Luna or the Winter Wyvern. And if they ever want to make a rotation or have a rotation come towards them, that's when it can start getting scary.
Speaking of scary, mid lane got very scary for a moment. Brawl had to sidestep an arrow because 9 was intent on trying to go for the kill. Had the arrow connected, Brawl would certainly have died. But because it didn't, he's the one that now has the mana advantage, and 9 knows that until he gets a little bit more regen, not safe in the lane. At the very least, does have access to some raindrops, so he won't die to the full raise combo. But just needs to be careful. Fortunately for Brawl, he's also going to be careful because just to his left, there's an observer ward scouting out this movement from the Earthshaker. So he knows Saksa is nearby, trying to go for this gank attempt, and he's not going to fall for it. Going to play safe, come and get a water rune. Even calls for reinforcements to do so safely. This is what we like to see here, Fluke. Make sure that you bring in your friends when you need help.
Oh, if Dubu was able to yoink that water rune, this could have been a massive swing in this mid lane. But usually we see these rotations from both the supports. You know, you've got a hero like the Pudge, you've got a hero like the Marcy. They're going to be relatively okay with just kind of staying in the lane. And pressure once again here on Skitter. Got the bushwhack. He's dead.
Well, he's dead.
No.
Yeah. Didn't we literally say a minute ago that if Snaking ever leaves him, he's going to die?
Yeah. And Snaking left him and he died.
All right. All right, Fluke, I need some lotto numbers, quick.
17, 29, 42, and 15. I don't know.
Right, thank you so much. Saberlight is going back in. They actually have another access to a dispose. Ooh, weird interaction. This time around, it's not that the dispose breaks the bushwhack, it's just that they miss it because of the weird angles. But it ends up not mattering. They have enough damage between these two heroes to just walk Snaking down and they get that kill. That is a pretty big deal. This bottom lane is just going phenomenally for the side of TSM FTX.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of work, and they're just constantly putting the pressure on as well. And that's why I like watching. Saberlight has been one of my favorite players to be able to watch. He's permanently one of these players that is constantly looking for an angle for him to get an advantage in a lane. Whether it be him playing his Enigma, his Mars, any of these kind of heroes, he's always trying to constantly push the ball and trying to get some of these carry players out of their comfort zone so he can have the advantage in the lane. And playing this Marcy to perfection right now. These guys are doing a whole lot of work here, and they can make early rotations towards the mid lane. And speaking of, on the party.
Bye. This time around, they didn't have the access to the observer ward anymore, and Saksa came in, blocks off the full ramp. It's surprisingly difficult these days to get those full blocks. They don't happen as often as they used to, but he achieves it this time around. I love how they actually set up for the play. 9 threw out the arrow cavalierly to make it seem like he didn't have access to that disable, so that the SF would feel a bit safer walking forward. But little did SF know that there were some allies emerging from behind. They're going to try and find some quick revenge onto Saksa here. Got bushwhacked. They definitely have the damage through the Shadow Word. They were hoping for Brawl to get the kill, but you rather you get it on Moon Meander than nobody gets it at all. And this Hoodwink, that's 4 kills already. Dominating streak for a Hoodwink pre-8 minutes. Must feel pretty nice being Moon Meander right now.
Yeah, Moon's definitely living the Pos 4 dream right now. He's feeling pretty good about himself, 4-0. I feel like TSM are just feeling good about how this game is going so far. Same kind of feeling for Tundra though. They're not all too sad about how these lanes have gone. You know, their Luna's in a pretty good spot. 33's gone relatively okay. I guess they've had a few hiccups with, you know, Snaking going down a little bit earlier on and then them just losing Saksa there. But I feel like both these two teams are relatively okay with how this game has been going. I think the big thing for me is looking towards Tomato about when he starts hitting this critical mass, because Pudge is one of those heroes that really can just kind of take over a game. Vanguard should be rolling out to him right now. Yeah, now that he's got the Vanguard, moving in towards a lot more of these armor items. And then once he starts getting ags, like, I'm not quite sure how they're supposed to actually deal with him.
Try and bring him down right now with some various soul assumptions and the Visage summons. It's going to be good enough to be able to do so. What a fortuitous time to have level 6 for the Visage. Dubu about to die as well. Couple more hits. In the meantime, down bottom, they jump onto Skeeter behind the tier 1 tower. They are able to clean up this Luna. So core for core, traded all across the map right now. I love how TSM and Tundra are both so aware of the map. The moment that TSM clock the fact that Skeeter should be alone down bottom, because they are supports helping to kill Pudge, they're like, all right, jump him, let's go, immediately. Then the moment that Tundra realized, wait a second, these two heroes can't respond anymore, all right, let's keep going ourselves.
Yeah, this
Dota, what a game.
Yeah, they're definitely playing well. Playing over this 8-minute rune. He actually got the DD rune, so it sucks. So that's actually big, being able to deny that DD rune. I would have laughed if the 8-minute rune spawned bottom. That would have been the funniest thing to me ever, Stereos, if they were all fighting over this top rune like it was going to be, you know, the TI winning play, and it just spawns bottom, and Soniqs just dies to nothing. That would have been hilariously tragic.
That's one of those wonderful 50-50 moments, right? You're saying to yourself, right, if I get this rune and it's like a DD, then I died and it's 100% worth. If it's like a regen, I'm just hating life right now.
Yep.
But if it's nothing, then I just want to quit. Fortunately, he doesn't have to quit. He can keep playing for us. And he can keep showing us his worth in this game, because it looks like they're trying to set up for a kill on the top side of the map. They're inviting the 9 Mirana to make a rotation. She has been scouted out though. There is vision tracking her every move. So TSM will not get caught out by this. Tomato already vacating the top lane. They're just leaving Dubu nearby to pick up some experience. And ooh, hook coming in from Tomato. Leap charge will also be stopped with the dismember. Can they get this kill though? 9, very low on HP, but unfortunately nobody else nearby. Yo, that was very, very close to being a kill. If that is level 2 hook, if that is level 2 dismember, if the 9 Mirana is 1 level less, or worse yet, doesn't have access to the power trades or the 1, that's a kill. But these fine margins this time around do end up benefiting Tundra, because while Tomato's unable to kill her, the rest of his team is able to bring down the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and this is the big power move coming in from Tundra, right? And this is the reason why a lot of these teams are really starting to lean towards Luna. It hits night time, and you've got this extra, you know, bonus 20 damage. So all of your heroes are just that little bit stronger on the map, especially a hero like Visage, where you have that little bit of extra bonus damage for you and the familiars that just allows you to take these towers so much faster. And I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of this Luna hero, a whole lot more of this Visage hero being able to be in combination, because you just have this big window where you just have, what, an extra almost 100 damage across your team in comparison to what TSM do. And being able to play into that, you kind of have to outplay them so much more and have to get so much more of an advantage out of the map. And in this Luna hero is really starting to come up in priority. And I like that Tundra, not only did they press that advantage, but TSM also respected it as well. They weren't going too gung-ho into it. They understand that they still need a few more of these items. If they lose out on some of these towers early on, it's perfectly okay, as long as Braul's the one that's still getting a lot of this farm up, because Tomato's actually going for an early Crimson Guard. So I don't hate this coming in from Tomato. The Crimson Guard is one of those items that really kind of stuffs up what the Visage tries to do, but still needs to be something where he gets a bit more damage later on.
Speaking of damage, Moonmeander unleashes some of it onto Snaking. Saberlight shows up with the reband just to be like, I helped, I was there too. But that was mostly a Moonmeander kill, and they're going to be able to clean up the tier 1 tower off the top of this. Once they get those Crimson, it'll be great against the Visage, and for a time, it'll feel decent against the Luna. But speaking of Luna, Skeeter, you are in massive danger, my friend. You need to run, and you need to run immediately. They are trying to track him down. Does he have a TP out? Indeed he does. Saberlight not going to be able to close the gap in time. And Moonmeander gets wrong with the bushwhack. They almost got him, but they didn't manage to do so. I don't know if they had a smoke actually to try and increase the MS to come down faster. But nonetheless, they're probably still just happy being able to consolidate control of this side of the map, keep pushing in these waves, start controlling the dire jungle, and keep Brawl at the very high up on this net worth. But he's not at the top of the net worth. That honor belongs to Saberlight at the moment.
Yeah. Saberlight doing a really good job at just understanding that he doesn't actually really need items to start out this game. Marcy is one of those heroes that just does a whole lot of work with her spells innately, getting the Falcon Blade, just giving that little bit of extra minor regen, a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra HP, and just kind of plays extremely fast. Because I think TSM are just waiting on this kind of Crimson Guard timing. They've got the full Crimson Guard now. Dubu's got the level 6 with the Karadok offering. Brawl's getting closer and closer to that Dragon Lance. Now he's got a haste tree leveled up. So they're starting to hit a timing here, TSM, where I think they're going to try and take this top tier 1 tower. They're going to see if they can get themselves an early Roshan and just try and eke out some more of this extra advantage, because we've seen what Shadow Fiends can do when they start getting towards that, you know, that BKB, starting to hit towards the Daedalus, the Satanic, the Skadi, all those kind of extra items. And if they're able to get these small advantages by abusing their item timings up against Tundra, then they can really start to crack this game open, because still feels pretty 50-50. Luna's in a pretty good spot, 33's in a pretty good spot. I think the biggest thing for me is I haven't really felt the impact of 9 just yet. So I'm really looking towards this Miranda to try and have a bit of impact coming in soon.
I'll get over it.
Once the Aghanim Scepter is complete for the Mirana, it's going to be very, very good for adding some damage to this hero in general. It is a bit unfortunate that the way you build up this hero nowadays doesn't allow you to just like rush Maelstrom. You have to stop off for like some secondary stat item, so couldn't go headlong into Maelstrom straight into Ags, so have to prioritize Ags. So it will take a long time to get there. In the meantime, right in front of him, he has to watch his ally dying in front of his face. On the bright side, he is able to land an arrow onto Saberlight. I think that's the first arrow of the game that has landed like that, but sadly, Snake King will not be around to high-five him and congratulate him on his success.
It was more commiserations than anything else. So just this death squad with Saberlight and Moon Meander completely controlling the bottom side of the map, and Tundra, they're at least trying to get in there and try and get these D-wards going, but it is such an unsafe part of the map, and that's why you can see 33 as well as Skitter are the ones that are posting themselves towards the top side of the map. That's much more safer for them to be in. Nine's got these leap charges, you know, they can throw snaking in there as well. Maybe you can float around in the trees, try and get this little bit more of the dangerous farm, but it seems like finally TSM are going to try and kick out Tundra from this top side of the map. They want to kill 33.
Oh my
Was that a triple raise combo?
It was not a triple raise. It was a double raise from Brawl, and they had the combination coming in from the sharpshooter with the bushwhack. That's where most of the damage came in from. Well, Nine, unfortunately, only has like 1,000 HP at this point in time. So if you take that much damage, instantly you won't survive it. And look what TSM is doing. They're stacking up around the Roshan pit. Like they want to go in. They got the solitary points into the presence of the Dark Lord. And this is not going to be the fastest Roshan in the world, but it certainly won't be the slowest. With the sidekick going, a very overfarmed Saberlight, and the Unleash activation, they're actually jumping in. Winter's Curse, Snaking gets disposed into the Roshan pit despite the curse connecting. What? Okay, that was kind of weird. They know, keep the pressure going onto the Roshan. 33 has familiars if he wants to drop them. Not going to be able to do so though. And they will just end up taking the big man down. Aegis will drop. Oh, that makes more sense. I'm actually not very smart. It was Tomato with the hook. I was wondering, like, why was Saberlight's hands up? Then he gets stunned. The hero still moves behind him. But it's the hook. It's the hook. It's fine. Well, it's the hook from Tomato into a kill, into a Aegis pickup for the Brow Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, right? Like, if TSM are able to kind of find one of these advantages that they're able to abuse to try and take down a Roshan, and that's when they can really start to crack open this map. And it was just a kill onto 9 there, where they're able to get a freebie on him in towards the mid lane. Nice combination between Bryle and Moon Meander. And that fight, it was just a split second between Saberlight getting Winter's Curse throughout the entirety of them and him being on the outside of the pit and it being literally mattered for naught. I feel like Saberlight probably would have gone down with both the Shadow Fiend and the Pudge hitting into him, but unfortunate for Snake King there. That could have been a bit of a hero play. So now Tundra are a little bit behind the 8 ball. They haven't really been able to group up just yet. We haven't seen any Echo Slams. We've only seen one Winter's Curse, but we haven't really seen Tundra come together as a 5-man when they're able to abuse this Lunar Blessing at night time, being able to abuse the Eclipse, and really trying to get 9 back into this game, because just haven't felt anything coming in from this Mirana. He had a relatively okay lane up against the Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend's one of those heroes that's more than happy to trade farm. And now 9 is in this awkward spot where he's just constantly having to push in this top lane to see if they can get anything out of it.
Ooh, they finally catch Saberlight. Saberlight, can they actually kill him is the question. They can, but that was a lot of commitment.
Oh, the Echo?
That was a lot. Ooh, Echo Slam does actually come out. Tomato is showing up with Moon Meander. They want some instant revenge down in this bottom lane. And Moon Meander will assist them to get it. A monster kill streak for the Hoodwink. 8-0-4, been involved in 100% of his team's kills thus far. And although they do get a very big kill onto Saberlight, generate a lot of net worth off the back of it, regrettably, because of this instant response from TSM, they can't even play this area despite a successful fight here. And once they come back with the Marcy, you can bet that TSM are going to slowly but surely push you deeper into the side of the map yet again.
Yeah, TSM are doing a really good job at just understanding which parts of the map are going to be important for them. They took control of the bottom side of the map so they can continue pressuring out this tier 2. Once they get the rush.
Saberlight? He's actually a god at Dota. Just bows into the Requiem for the Fear.
That was pretty.
Saberlight, dude. Wow, that was amazing to watch.
Yeah, that was actually really pretty to watch between Bryle as well as Saberlight. The combination was far too good. You're going to see if they can kill Tomato bottom, but he is a tanky boy.
Reinforcements are incoming. Bryle, he didn't TP to the top lane, remember, so he can show up immediately. We do have our Pudge just standing his ground. Oh, we're gonna be taking no damage. Dubu drops the golem down with the huge fatal bonds. Lots of damage being dealt out. Skeeter needs to watch himself, but there's no Requiem here. So their team fight is feeling a little bit lackluster from TSM. Eventually they do manage to kill Tomato, and now they're chasing down Bryle. Bryle tries to turn, still has access to the Aegis, so that's life number 1. Dubu is trying to run back as quickly as possible. They still don't have Saberlight for this fight, so Bryle pops the BKB, but he's only interested in retreating. Winter's Curse holds him in position. Meander, can he do anything here? Nice bushwhack onto Skeeter, prevents the Luna from being able to chase further. Bryle, though, gets fissured up by Saksa and will finally end up taking a tumble. Tundra not only managed to bring down Tomato, they get the bonus kill onto Bryle, came to help, but turns out he was only helping the net worth of these Tundra heroes.
Yeah, and this is what I talked about in the draft, right, where Tundra are just permanently able to keep going here. If they get this kill on a Moon Meander, he's going to be worth a lot of gold. No, he's going to be okay. He's going to be able to scurry into the tree line. But this is what I talked about, right? Like, there is just such little cooldowns that Tundra actually have to play around with. Yeah, the Winter's Curse is probably the only one they need to play around with, but we saw what Snaking was able to do there. They just get the Winter's Curse out on the BKB Shadow Feed. Doesn't really do anything. Without the Requiem, it's not really much the TSM are able to do team fight-wise. And this Wraith Pact early on, something I haven't really touched on, but I think Wraith Pact is going to start to make a resurgence back in towards the TI group stages, because we saw in our first series where against BetBoom and Gaimin Gladiators that we saw these offlaners having to try and match the Wraith Pacts just because how strong this kind of damage mitigation is, and we saw it in that last fight. 33 took so much damage from the Fatal Bonds as well as the Flesh Golem and the Bite that I think he only dropped down to like 50% HP thanks to the Wraith Pact. To be fair, it wasn't a full duration Bite, but these Wraith Pacts are going to be able to do a whole lot of work in these team fights, especially against these heroes that don't have that massive amount of burst damage. Sacks up. Oh, what a goal.
Oh, wow. That was... what a player. Aghanim shot, baby. That's why he fought it. Helps him escape this young gank from Saberlight. Otherwise, Saberlight had him dead to rights. Saberlight read the play really well. Even got off the dust out of nowhere. I'm not sure how he knew that there was a Moonlight Shadow right around him. But now, down towards the tier 2 tower, Moon Meander gets bursted really fast. Coming in from Tundra. They don't just take his life away. They take the tier 2 tower as well. They're not done just yet, Cheerful. They're going to smoke up. They're picking this mid lane out. Saksa opening up the arrow attempt. They get the arrow, long range from 9. Lots of damage flying in, but Saberlight shows up and unleashes the damage. 3 hits later, and there used to be an Earthshaker there. He's been removed from play. Saberlight still needs to be careful though. Does have BKB, doesn't activate it in time. Goes for it now. Held in place by the Winter's Curse, but his friends giving him a launching platform to rebound back into safety. Alright, so the attempt was shown towards middle after getting a quick support kill, but unfortunately Saberlight's a little bit too strong at this stage in time.
Yeah, Saber Chad coming out that time around, hits down Leash, says, see you later, sucks up. You're going to cop this one this time around. But Bryle still holding on to this BKB. Tundra. They have to be careful. The Golem is up and available though.
Also have this Pudge nearby looking for a hook. He catches Skeeter, the worst possible target. BKB does come out, but they get the Dismember before she can get off the Eclipse. Cold Embrace will keep her alive slightly longer, but only slightly. As soon as she comes back, Bryle will throw in the right clicks to secure the double kill. They're not done just yet either. Skeeter, he has to watch as 9 gets himself caught out in the trees. He can't help him anymore from the sidelines of the fountain. 9 has only 1 leap charge remaining. Saberlight has access to the rebound in 3. Will he try go for it? Can they find the correct angle? They cannot. Unfortunately, Moon Meander did miss the bushwhacks and the Hunter's Boomerang. So, okay. Allowed to flee. Nonetheless, TSM still take another successful fight here, getting a massive amount of net worth into Bryle, pushing back against Tundra's attempts to invade their jungle. And this happened while they were trying to catch Bryle farming the triangle. This is the best feeling. You finish the triangle farm, you kill the enemy heroes, and now you're about to take their tier 2. Honestly, this is the time you even drop the line. Try gank me again, boys.
Definitely feels like it's starting to look up here for TSM after the last couple of minutes. I thought the Tundra were really able to abuse some of those timings, but just not respecting the Golem once again. They didn't have the Winter's Curse. Would have been a massive Winter's Curse coming from Snaking if they're able to hit it there onto the high ground. But this is kind of the back and forth the Tundra and TSM are going to have here in this game. Without the Winter's Curse, they have to be very mindful of the Golem, but as soon as the Golem is down for TSM, they really don't have that much team fight. Yeah, they've got the Requiem and the Pudge is able to do a little bit of work, and Moon Meander's had a pretty phenomenal goal. it's a hard day here, a little bit later on in the afternoon, but Moon's had a pretty good game today, so getting to a point where he isn't really able to do much outside of it.
Nice fissure to catch Tomato. Saxa jumps in onto him. They want to blow up this Pudge first and foremost, and they'll be able to do so, dropping the Echo Slam right on his face. But unfortunately, Skeeter's in an awkward position because he got cold embraced in the midst of these TSM heroes. He'll be bailed out by the usage of the Winter's Curse onto Saberlight, but Bryle activates BKB, throws in the razors, and brings down Skeeter. The killing spree so far for the SM. Shaksa, 3 heroes caught with the fissure, will be able to bring down Bryle first and foremost. Between himself and 33, who threw out that long soul assumption. The kill does get credited towards 9, who does not have the Aghanim Scepter, so it can furnish some extra damage in the midst of these fights. But TSM, they really thought they were going to be able to bounce back Tundra from this fight, but it turns out Tundra a little bit too strong right now, and they catch the perfect target first. Losing Tomato at the beginning of the fight, Fluke, this is not what you want to see if you're on TSM.
Yeah, he literally didn't get anything off. He got his Crimson Guard to be popped, but no bite, no hooks, no nothing. They spent so much time trying to take down Skitter that he just was able to walk around the fight a little bit. Meander kind of saving it there for TSM, getting the bushwhack, because if Bryle had to stand there and fight up against a Luna and a Visage, that would have been a rough time for Bryle. Eventually does go down, but they had to expend a little bit more for them. And Tundra, man, like they're starting to team fight their way back into this. They're only less than 1,000 gold behind, so the net worth is relatively even though there's a whole lot more kills going the way of TSM. But these fights are starting to get very, very interesting. They've got the Golem back up off cooldown now for Dubu, Saberlight, getting close to this Basher. I think once this Basher comes up, he's going to be a juggernaut in these fights once again. Being able to pop that BKB, pop the Unleash, just try and stick on top of Skitter. Albeit, yes, he does get Cold Embrace. That's kind of like a free disable for you, right? Like, he's Cold Embrace, he's not really doing much as long as he hasn't got the Eclipse off at that point. You're okay with how that's going, and then you just get the rest of the Unleash and try and bash him down. So both these team fights, I think, are going to come down to the big team fight spells. So we've got things like the Winter's Curse, as well as the Chaotic Offering, as well as what Soniqs is able to do on this Earthshaker. So really looking towards these kind of 3 players for the next couple of team fights to alleviate a bit of pressure for them. Moon's been doing a really great job here on TSM, just staying in the background, getting these Hunters boomerangs going, but at some point, he's not going to be able to do that much damage through these BKBs. And he has to be very, very careful with where he's positioning, because we need to try and save Tomato. If Tomato can get off his Flesh Heap, if Tomato can get off the Crimson Guard, gets a bite down, these fights should look relatively okay for TSM.
TSM trying to build into a BKB so they can get Tomato into that safety portion of the game. First while Tundra trying to enhance how they feel about this game. Okay, good hook initially. They find Saxa first. There will be a young Winter's Curse committed by the Snake King, followed up with an arrow from 9. Unfortunately, the arrow connects onto Saberlight during the duration of the Winter's Curse, so literally no damage. And Tomato just happy to have been able to get that hook kill. He's been rather light on the Flesh Heap stacks, if I'm going to be completely honest on the hero. So always feels good just to be able to do whatever it takes, even if it's the odd support kill here or there. Start buttressing that up, get tankier and tankier, and become the real anchor point for your team to be able to fight around, whilst Bryle is out here just dishing out wild amounts of damage.
Oh, Tundra, they're in a rough spot here. They get hooked, they get disposed. Could be scary for them. Nice little arrow, though. Okay. I got spooked there for a moment now. I saw that hook on the stun target. I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad for Saberlight. Then I realized Tomato's on his team. So they're okay here for TSM. They're happy about it.
I never played my pubs Fluke, because half the time my own pile just hooks is what get me killed in the middle of the team fight.
You just get hooked, and then you get Winter's Cursed, and then there's a Luna beating on your face, and you're really not enjoying how these things are going. Very interested about Nine's build right now. He's going for a Blink, and then he's going into Shard. So, not all too bad. It's like kind of this like magic damage build that I've seen some Maranas go for, not going for this like kind of pure right-clicker with things like BKB and then going into like a Gleipnir and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't hate it. I love when teams change up some of their builds to have a mixed kind of composition, when we see Shadow Fiends go for the magic damage build when they've got a heavy right-clicker for them, and kind of vice versa. Is always nice to see here. So I like that Nine is understanding that they have a lot of physical damage already. They could do with a little bit more of this magic damage to try and get through this Pudge earlier on, considering they don't have a Spirit Vessel or anything like that to play around with. So I do like this build, and I definitely feel like it might be something we see a little bit more of, these cores that can have these mixed damage kind of builds.
It's also the perfect item to pick up just before going into a Roshan fight. So that as you're leaping around for safety, you're also creating problems for the enemy team. So that they don't just get to force you away from the area, that they have to worry about what direction is she going. Because suddenly makes it a little bit more difficult for us. Let's see though how things go, because it looks like Roshan is the next port of call for both of these squads. No tier 1 towers to claim in the mid lane, no tier 2 towers to claim in the off lane. So usually that means fight around the Roshan, and the big man is where everyone's corralling around. Nobody's leaving the area. However, Tundra have just picked up a pretty massive advantage here. 33 just got an AC. Fam, AC with the Wraith Pack, they don't have a Wraith Pack just yet on the side of TSM. So you have damage mitigation, some damage amplification, and of course, it's just going to keep these heroes so much healthier against the Shadow Fiend in general.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that TSM are going to start to run into a few more of these damage problems. Yeah, the Master can do a decent amount of work with that Unleash as well as the Psychic to try and burst through it, but it's going to be hard for them to try and deal with 33. So I think they're really going to have to start to set their attention to Soniqs and Snake King here to take down these supports early on, see if they can isolate 9 as well with maybe like a bash into a Requiem before he starts getting towards that BKB timing for the Mirana here. So they're going to smoke up. They've got the Golem. He's still only level 1 Golem though from Dubu. Snake King, he's going to bite this one though.
Ooh, doesn't get the bite just yet, but does eventually manage to do so. There is buyback on Snake King. I would not be surprised to see him committed ASAP. Playing around this Roshan pitch, you cannot allow them to have the free Aegis, but looks like Tundra doesn't believe they have the capability of fighting here. They're going to leave TSM to their own devices, give up control of this Aegis. It's going to be an Aegis and a shard as well. Who do they give the shard to? Well, Braille hasn't gotten his own shard yet, so please take the shard, my friend. Hey, it's Christmas out here. Aegis plus shard, feeling good. Way stronger than he was just 30 seconds ago. And now TSM, the game wasn't trending in their direction, to be honest. It was feeling a little bit complicated, but since they picked up this BKB from Tomato, it looks like they've gotten a little bit of that bravery. What is it that they were saying about like what they want? What was Moon saying to the team again about what he wants out of them by the time they get to TI?
Get the fear out of your hearts. I don't want to have any fear in your hearts by the time we get to TI. And I think TSM are starting to get towards that point. But unfortunately for Dubu, he might be seeing a shadowy figure in the shape of Saksa at the end of tonight. Or an Echo Slam.
Echo Slam from Saksa as well. Nice salvation, but it might actually die. Saberlad, last second BKB, actually manages to live here. Tomato, he says, don't fear because I am here. Hooks him to safety. And Tundra, well, if you commit the Echo Slam for a BKB charge, I suppose the BKB was already down to 6 seconds anyway, so it's not that deep for the Mossy. But it just feels good to know that your team can save you in those clutch moments. And it doesn't take any skin off their back, right? They've already taken the Roshan, so there's no need to be playing on the western part of the map anyway.
Yeah, they're perfectly okay with how that did pan out there. Yes, they did lose Dubu, but at the end of the day, he's just, what, level 11? He's level 12 now. He's just ticked over towards that level 2 ulti, so he'll be okay with that. He's able to respawn. Really looking to see what kind of damage they can do towards this mid-tier 2 tower. They haven't taken this tier 1 yet, so yeah, they are starting to get a lot of farm and starting to cool it up. They're only 1k ahead, so it's not like they are really starting to build this massive net worth lead with this Aegis and be a-okay with it. But they definitely are trying to farm out the map here, and Tundra are doing a good job of just avoiding a lot of these fights, getting their own farm on the map, and not losing too much map control. So TSM, they've only got like, what, 3 minutes left of this Aegis, so I really want to see if they can get some objective damage here. Look towards this mid tier 1, take that, try and take over the jungle. And, oh, 33. Oh, they missed it.
In a little bit of danger here. Not sure how hard they want to commit on the side of TSM. He goes in for the Silence of the Grave, buying space and time. 4 staffs away, coming in from Tundra. They get him all the way to safety. The hook might not be as kind towards Saksa, but as this BKB expires, Tomato trying to get himself out. Saberlight, though, jumping in, unleashes damage onto Saksa. Saksa thought he was bailed out of trouble with the Winter's Curse, but the Hunter's Boomerang will put pay to that. And Dubu drops the rock down, but unable to save the life of Saberlight. Between the Requiem, they're not going to actually channel it. Or they cancel the channel rather. Skeeter found the stuns with a full duration stun from 9 as well. But there's the dismember. Look at how much damage Skeeter is taking. And he's not going to be allowed to run away from the rest of TSM. Despite activating the BKB, he has no safety in this fight. As he will go down. 3 heroes taken away. TSM can also clean up the tower now. all of a sudden. And Saberlight very happy to commit his life there to save Tomato. This is what happens. You see, y'all, if you save a player in your games, they will return the favor and help you win a team fight as well.
Yeah, it definitely was a nice little save that came in from Saberlight. He still was able to get the kill on Asaxa, and you just see the amount of times that Tomato was able to fall back and reset, right? It started to look a little bit dicey here when Bryle was copying a lot of damage that came in from Skidder, but the blink back in from Tomato, they get the bite, they dealt the damage on towards the Luna, and this Hunter's Boomerang just allows them to do so much extra damage in these team fights as well, and then Bryle catches out 9 in towards the top side of the map as well. So not only did they get themselves a nice little team fight there with the Aegis, they got themselves a tier 1 tower. Now they should be able to get themselves a tier 2 as well. So TSM firmly in the driver's seat here now. I think they're looking towards getting themselves the dub.
They also got themselves that bonus kill onto 9, who got hunted down through the trees. Brawl happy to get the kill, happy to get the next tier 2 tower as well. The entire map just started shrinking in a rapid span of time in Tundra. Recovery plans are hard in coming. You know, you were talking earlier about like the relative lack of impact that we're feeling from this Mirana. This is usually the stage of the game that we see 9 on some hero that's about to hit a decent enough power spike that they can go and like force a fight somewhere on the map. But it feels like with this Mirana, he sort of needs Saksa and Snaking to set up for him. They have to be the ones that go in first. He really cannot like, you can't just like blink in, it's fine, I'll leap out to safety. The way he's been dying so quickly when he does get caught, gonna make him very, very worried. And Tomato back on salvation duty, gets Moon Meander out of trouble, says, Captain, I got you. Tomato, though, rolling forward with the BKB, unable to find a target.
Oh, no.
Okay. Weird interaction between the Dispos and the Hook actually saves the life of Snaking. The birds will still end up getting brought down here, but I don't think anybody else is gonna end up dying. Saberlight also blinks out. Tomato's on the low ground. Tundra's thinking about it. Aegis just get reclaimed. Bryle, now a mortal man once again, but I don't know how badly they actually want to jump onto the high ground here. They might have PTSD from the last disaster of a fight that happened on this high ground. So that memory being fresh in their minds will give them the impetus to just get back, heal up, maybe try and take the next fight, now that you know that there's no longer an Aegis to protect them.
Yeah, there's no Aegis. There's still BKBs, so they have to try and worry about here as well. The Echo Slam is huge.
Slam! Going into the mid lane, Brawl gets saved though, pushed out of it. And Saberlight yet again happy to jump in and tank the blows for his core. Tomato coming into the fray now as well. There's Wraith Pact on both sides, mitigating some of this damage output. Nice pushback on the edge of the fight as we see this Pudge. Okay, interplay between himself and 9, but 9 just leaps onto the high ground to save himself and then get the kill onto Tomato. TSM have lost 2 cores out of the blue. Saksa started that fight. TSM did not see it coming in Tundra. They win super quickly and not scary about this fluke. Remember, they're playing with the Luna Visage. If you lose a fight and you give them space to push, these buildings are going to get knocked over in an instant.
Yeah, you can just see that they're melting through these buildings as well. Huge initiation that came in there from Sark. So he saw his opportunity, right? That's all they need to see. They just need to see this one little moment. They jump in directly onto Bryle. They force some of these BKBs, and now they're coming in once again.
Beautiful Fissure drop down initially from Saksa. Coming in is Tomato with his BKB. They force out the Cold Embrace, but Skeeter now in trouble because he no longer has BKB. The Requiem only connects on him at the very edge of the circle. Tomato trying to hold him in position. 33 is on the high ground with his own Wraith Pact and his familiars and his own body, dissuading TSM from running headlong into the Luna. However, now that all of those mitigation strategies are done, they have nothing to fear anymore. Beautiful pushback coming in from Captain Moon. Will be able to catch and kill Skeeter, and they lose nobody in the process. More importantly than that, they don't even lose the melee racks. And now that they've gotten these kills, they've gotten this fight, TSM was shaky, but they still demonstrate that they're in charge of this game.
Yeah, they are. They still had to use a buyback on Tomato, so these next couple of fights are going to be scary. Oh, no way. How does he find that? Just on the edge of the
Saberlight guy's pretty good at Dota. Let's see. All 3 charges were used. Yeah, they won't catch him. Nice one.
Yeah, just having that Tinker Ward up on the high ground. It was literally, I think, like 0.2 of a second for that TP as well there for 9. So he's going to be a little mad that he lost his TP there, but he's going to be able to come out on top. At least the BKB got used once again here from Saberlight, but both these two teams are team fighting extremely well. Like the Luna is starting to have some issues if she doesn't have the BKB at the ready just because of how strong these bushwhacks have been. And even the Aghanim Shard that comes in from the Shadow Fiend as well, those fears, every time these auto attacks go out for Bryle, can start to actually do a lot of work, because even though it's a small fear, it still is able to kind of put you in those small positions where for half a second you don't have control of your hero, right? And that's when it can really start to throw out of whack some of the timings that Tundra want to play around. At least now 33 has this Aghanim Scepter, so he has the Sana's Grave. He's able to kind of try and find a little bit of these pickoffs. Tomato's starting to get to this point where he's getting scary as well. He's gone back for the AC, not going towards the Aghanim Scepter, understanding that they need to try and match the buffs that are coming in here from Tundra, because if they're still at the disadvantage of things like the AC and the Wraith Pack, it really starts getting hard for them. Another fight's going to break out though.
Luna tanked quite a bit of damage from the initial sharpshooter from Moon, who was using it as a scout tool. Vision from Saxa. This is kind of interesting. It broke up where Brawl and Tomato were standing. This is exactly where the jump came in last time from Saxa. So they are aware of this on the side of FTX. TSM do not want to let it happen again. The primary objective, though, is control of Roshan, as the big man will come up in 45 seconds, more or less. And when he does, that's an Aegis, that's a Cheese, that's a Young Refresher. And usually that has been the death knell for the teams that end up getting it, or that end up giving it away. So this next fight, which way does it go, Fluke? Because both of these teams, as you were mentioning, right, so some very entertaining items coming up, but more importantly, some level timers are coming. 20s plus are being broached, so we're getting some quite powerful talents. Who has the advantage in the next fight, and as this game continues to scale longer and longer?
I would start to lean towards Tundra really starting to come out on top on some of these team fights. I think the Luna can do a lot, and Nine's really starting to come into his own here on the Marana as well, hitting that level 20 talent. Now has the extra 35 damage. Moonlight Shadow gives 20% of evasion as well for that 15 talent, so he can do a lot of work at being able to kite around and really trying to alleviate a bit of the pressure for their Luna, especially if they're able to make it so Bryle wastes his 6-second BKB. So I'm really starting to lean towards Tundra here, even though they are a little bit behind. I feel like they just have that little bit of extra kind of tools to play around with as well. You know, the Sana's the Grave is going to be really, really useful for them. They've got the Winter's Curse if it's able to hit big, and the Echo Slam. We've seen what Soniqs has been able to do in the past at TIs, and I mean, I think right now he's starting to feel like that TI form is coming up, but TSM, they also have their own kind of damage, right? If Saberlight's able to BKB and get in towards the backline, it's going to be oh so hard for Tundra to try and peel for any of their supports, because he sidekicks himself and unleashes. He just does so much damage in such a short amount of time that it's going to be very, very hard for Tundra to try and keep these fights going. But if they have the fights on their own kind of terms and fighting front to back, then they're going to be perfectly okay with how things are going.
We saw Saberlight chilling with the Ninja Gear. This Warlock has a telescope, so it can sit a bit further back. The intriguing thing was the win odds that we just saw come up. Although TSM FTX have a 5k net worth lead, although they are enjoying an experience lead as well, according to Gaimin, Tundra not only have 73, but also have an upswell in a possibility of winning. You have a big catch onto Tomato here. Hasn't been able to cast the Flesh Heap or BKB, so he's losing a lot of HP. Finally gets off the BKB, but Saberlight, he's gone into the river, trying to chase down these supports, force them away from the rest of the fight. Brian is out. It's a huge Winter's Curse. It's going to catch onto the Saberlight Marcy, forcing Brian to right-click him into oblivion. And TSM FTX do not want to fight without Saberlight. They will back off. Unfortunately, though, that is going to give up an Aegis. I think they realize this. They're trying to come back. What options do they have here? Can they buy space and time? Saberlight can't buy back into this one, but Dubu has already committed the chaotic offering, so can't drop it again. This is going to be hard here, Fluke. There's the buyback. They realize that they don't want to give this one up. Tomato might attempt a cheeky little hook from the edge of the Roshan pit or the edge of the cliff.
Tundra getting
scared. They need to be wary about this on the side of Tundra. Yeah, they're punking. Dude, they're actually giving. They can't do this. This Roche is too low. They have to fight here. Brow's inside the pit right now. Brow is going BKB. He's getting the fear out to ensure he gets the Aegis. He got the Aegis, the Cheese, and the Refresher. As we end up losing 33 right side of the base. That's a gem that's being dropped down. But look at Skeeter losing so much HP. Gets saved by the E-Blade that came in from Nine. Saxa finds the 2-hero Echo Slam. Brings down Saberlight to force a dieback out of the Marcy, take away the first life of the Shadow Fiend, and potentially set up for the second one. However, Tomato running interference, blinks in front of him, and just burst down Skeeter with the assistance of Bryle. TSM FTX. It's an expensive fight, to be sure here, Fluke. It requires a buyback out of Marcy. It requires giving up the life of the Shadow Fiend the first time around. But my goodness, it was not effective at the end of the day in terms of denying Tundra the same.
Yeah, I think TSM they just had some steely nerve. They understood that they can go in there, they can get it really fast. They take down Soniqs once again. I think this game is really starting to get hard here. Soniqs is not around for another 70 seconds. It was a sick little Echo Sam that came in from him as well, but it was only the first strike they were able to take down Bryle. TSM, they're in a really good spot here, and it just came off the back of no fear, right? They just walked in towards the Roshan pit. They said, are they going to come fight us? What do they have to do? They had to make a decision in a few seconds, and TSM were the ones that were making the decisions. They were the ones that were setting the tempo, and unfortunately Tundra weren't able to get the response that they had hoped, and now TSM are knocking on their front door.
I mean, they set that one up 4v5, but like you say, they ran without fear. They made the decision very proactively. What's the counter response here from Tundra? They find the Winter's Curse, but this time around they're prepared for it. Tomato, the only one caught out. Nobody else really gets affected by it. They've gotten the melee racks. They're about to pick up the range as well, and they're going to get the escape just as these heroes respawn. Making out like bandits, man. This feels so good. Tomato and the crew have taken the first lane of racks. They have a 13k gold lead, and officially, for the first time in many minutes, we are back to 50-50 win probability. Anything can still happen. It's only one lane of racks. It's what, 40-something minutes into the game? One lane doesn't really matter. So it really does come down to what happens with the second lane of racks. And unfortunately, I don't think any of these sides are going to do so until at least the next stages. So Tundra has time to try and think about what the plan is going to be. But TSM are trying to rob them of that time, smoking up instantly after the retreat to try and find another fight.
This could be an awkward timing though. It's 24 seconds until the Winter's Curse is back up. So surely TSM feel like that there is this small window that they can try and come in here. They did get the scan out onto the Luna. So know at least somebody is up here in the triangle. They want to try and blow somebody up. They want to try and catch them off guard. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Feeling like the Tundra are going to have this time out, but it's going to go on 33. Oh my god.
You said they went on 33. What 33, man? 33 is not top anymore. Skeeter gets hooked back into Tomato right now. He too just been removed from play. Visage not going to fare much better with how quickly he got blown up. Snake King also gets taken down. Only two of them have buyback. 33 has no access to it whatsoever. And it looks like TSM FTX, you were talking about having no fear, being proactive, making the decisions, and they've done so again, and that's going to lead them to be able to push onto the high ground for the second time almost in as many minutes. Tier 3 tower will fall quite quickly. Can they stop this? Tundra do not want to buy back on Skeeter, so they're going to let this lane of racks go, Fluke. Are you okay with this decision? Is this how you would go about it yourself if you were in the same situation?
Yeah, I think they kind of have to at this point. They're going to see if they can try and get something out of this, at least if they can force some cooldowns, if they can force something coming out of TSM, and Tundra have a way back into this game. I feel like as long as there isn't mega creeps right now, Tundra are going to be okay with this, as we said. They can kind of just win a team fight and push down a lot of these buildings as well. So this is where they have to make their last stand here. 20 seconds. Okay, now they're buyback. Oh, this was awkward.
That's pain and suffering. FTX, TSM definitely were trying to force that. They were like, well, if he's not buying back, we're going to force him to awkwardly buy back. And they're going to the fake back as well. Man, what fear is available within TSM FTX at the moment? They're going to try to get through the mid lane. Skeeter, a bit too far forward. He doesn't know that they're coming for him. Tomato jumps on him immediately. There's going to be the Requiem. Even though they found the young Winter's Curse, it's not going to be good enough. And their Worko Slam will be good enough, though. They burst down the Shadow Fiend off the back of this. Saksa, yet again, showing heroics for his squad. It's a big deal killing Bryle, as he's the primary pusher of TSM as well. But he's immediately back into the fray. He ports in with these boots of travel. And now they know for a fact there will be no Luna, there will be no Winter's Curse, there will be no Echo Slam. And that means very shortly, there will be no lane of racks in this bottom lane.
Yeah, TSM playing with complete unadulterated fear right now. They're just getting in the faces of Tundra. They take down Soniqs once again, stuck in towards the trees. Heroic Echo Slam would have been what they needed. It's last lane of racks here, Snare. They're going to get this and going to be able to get out.
They're going to try to, though. Arrow will connect, but Tomato with the salvation onto the Shadow Fiend yet again. This Aghanim shot, man, has just been so good. Snake King will end up losing his life. 33, you did your best, but Unfortunately, the strength of TSM at this point doesn't allow that best to be enough. They've taken the mega creeps. They're going to try and end the game before the Lunar Visage return. Brawl still at full HP. Blinks forward onto 9, raises him down. He's forced immediately back into the fountain. Good guy Soniqs blocking off the sharpshooter hit. Otherwise, 9 might have died inside the fountain. But unfortunately, it might still not be enough. Saberlight also trying to do the same. He's going to tank the arrow in favor of Brawl. Yo, these bodyguard plays coming in from TSM FTX. It's been really, really fun to watch. Homies help homies. And when the homies help each other, victory is possible. Soniqs, one more Hail Mary fissure. He's going to get hooked back into Tomato though. The rod is out, the damage is out. Brawl brings him down. The Ancient has fallen as well. So GG is called. TSM FTX take an exhilarating Game 1 victory here in the group stages. Heartbreaking for Tundra, but exhilarating and exciting for all of us. That's exactly how we want our series to start.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a back and forth affair between a lot of the teams we've had here today, Snare. And I mean, what a good way for us to come back here onto the D stream is the fact that TSM and Tundra are going blow for blow. There was certain opportunities where we thought